I am Flora Lloyd with the Missoula Current, and I'm here with Tim Winger, who is the general manager of the Southgate Mall. So, starting off, how long was the mall closed for due to COVID-19?
It was about 6 weeks is how long we were closed. Yep. But there was a lot going on during that time.
Yeah, so now that you're back open, how has foot traffic been, and what precautions are you taking to make sure that the public is safe?
Yeah, so the company that I work for, Washington Prime Group, and along with our housekeeping and security people, have been nothing less than awesome to work with and plan our reopening. We were working with the city well before the opening, letting them know what our plan was of reducing areas where people would congregate, like the play area. Our soft seating is all off the floor. We took off about 75% of our tables and chairs, and shut down all the vending when we initially opened. We reduced it to one bathroom, but we had already kind of done that with the construction that was going on anyway. And then we assigned areas and zones to our housekeepers to continually wipe down and sanitize. We place sanitizers at all the entrances and in the bathrooms, and have done and everybody's done a really good job, and we haven't received any complaints at this point, and our security's been keeping the groups down to the levels that they're supposed to. So we feel like we're covering all of it, and it's gone very well. The traffic's been great. Not overwhelming by any stretch, but the people that come here are on a mission, and they're shopping, and commerce is sort of started back up.
Yeah, so how will phase two change what you're doing now?
I think we're going to put a few more chairs, maybe a few more tables out there for folks' convenience. Obviously, when I say we put chairs and tables out there, they were all socially distanced, and some of our counter stores have laid down tape that are out in the common area. So, for instance, Cinnabon and Annie Ann's opened, a few days ago, and we have a line set up for them because it's a counter type store, like Dairy Queen is, and we're making sure people social distance. But the capacity of the stores will go from 50 to 75% if there isn't a local restriction yet, and I haven't seen that order yet, so that it may be different than what the states are, and we're making sure that we're following the local restrictions that apply. And they've been really great to work with as well. So that'll be the biggest change. And we reduced our hours we used to be 10 to 9, we're 11 to 7 now, which has been good for all the retailers and stores here because of the challenge of getting people back on the payroll. They have some students that moved away and things like that, so it's been a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. So I know that the mall previously was trying to make it more of a community gathering place with increased events and things like that. Do you think that you ever will restart that anytime soon?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a safe way to do those things, and what we're happy to see that's happening in the city are we're inching that way with the graduations that are happening for the high schools and the farm market reopening last weekend. We think there's a way to do many of the events that we have done in the past, and as things continue on, I think at some point, there may be a normality to what it was before. But as you know, this has been a very fluid situation with many changes. And as they come, we will, work with the city and the state, and within our company, we'll, I think, meet those challenges. But for now, we're in the planning stage and working within our company and even with the city on, some of the events that we'd like to, see happen in the future.
Yeah. So how has the pandemic affected new businesses that were just moving into the mall?
Yeah. So there's kind of two categories of that. There's the category of the folks that, and they aren't new to the mall, but they have new spaces now that we're in the zone where Shields is going to be. So we relocated about 5 tenants, or in the process of finishing up the last one. And, they've opened, pretty well. Two of those stores were service related. One was a salon and one was a nail salon. And so they opened a little later than us, and there was, they had to do things. Had to make sure that their stores were aligned with the restrictions, and they've done a really nice job. And traffic has been good in both their stores. The Annie Ann's and Cinnabon that opened just recently, I haven't walked by there, and there's always a line right now. People are really supporting that store, and they got a good staff hired, and they've come out of the box really well. We had the interactive museum Gigglebox just open as this hit, and I think they're going to open in phase 2, depending on what the local restrictions may or may not be. But that we're excited to have them reopen, because there was a lot of buzz about it, and people who had seen it were pretty excited about it, and we're hoping that they'll reopen as the schools are out and all that. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much for doing this interview.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.